Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, I'm your humble host, Jasper Gonzo, and this is a special and quick What's Next? January 5, 2021. Georgia Senate runoff. You have Loeffler versus Warnock, and you have Perdue versus some soy boy guy. Anywho, Perdue up by 2, Loeffler up by 2, with the votes being counted. Of course, the polls closed at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. You had millions of people come out in Georgia at the polls. Same goes for mail-in balloting, because we all know how accurate that is. And the votes are being counted as we speak right now. Again, because we all know how counting votes is accurate. In what this means. What it does is that if they can hold the line, it gives them a 52-48 advantage going into the next session of Congress, the 117th Congress. And if Joe Biden is inserted or selected as president come tomorrow, now we shift. Tomorrow, the electoral votes are going to be counted and called in, or should I say they're going to be called in and then they're going to be counted by the vice president. That would have been the normal stat. But being that there has been these votes are being disputed in certain states, led by Ted Cruz on the Senate side, led by Senator Josh Hawley on the Senate side, you have Republicans on the House side as well who have disputed these votes in these certain states. Per the Constitution, the Republicans have 2 hours to present their case to Mike Pence, and then Mike Pence will make the decision of whether it is valid or not to overturn this election, to give Donald Trump back 4 years, to give him 4 years as reelected president, or to basically, once again, select, whatever term you want to use, because it sure wasn't elected, Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States. And as we all know, that if Biden gets in, he's going to be there for a minimum of 1 year, only because, Pelosi will somehow use the 25th Amendment against him, that he doesn't have it all upstairs, because as we saw last year, the man was on the money. The man was as sharp as a bowling ball. But when it comes to the Republicans, we can't put our total faith in Republicans. We saw how the Republicans played games last year. Instead of being aggressive and supporting Donald Trump, a lot of them played their own game and left Trump out twisting in the wind, as we saw with Georgia. And it should have never came down to this. It should have never come down to Georgia. It should have never come down to the shenanigans and the irregularities and the BS of Pennsylvania and Nevada and Wisconsin and Georgia, and I think it was Michigan. So with all this going on, it should have never came down to this moment in time, but it has, regardless. But if the line is held, 52-48, Biden somehow gets in, pretty much, hopefully, we can hold him at bay, or her at bay, for the next 4 years, or for the next 2 years, because once again, the Democrats will be in danger of losing the House in 2022. Think about that. But there are 75 million people who voted for Donald Trump, including yours truly, who are not going to forget this. We're going to be very, very angry coming 22 and 24. Now, either one or two things are going to happen. Either the Republicans are going to look like champs here, and they're going to basically hold the line, and they're going to hold to their word and keep Biden and Kamala Harris at bay for the next 4 years, or they're going to fall in line and basically trip over themselves to basically say, well, you know what, we're going to do enough. We're going to do just enough to make sure that Biden and Harris don't go overboard. Like packing the courts. Like mandating mask wearing for the first 100 days. Good luck with that, bud. you know, the Green Deal, throwing us back into the Paris Accords, and other PC BS shenanigans that will be a detriment to our liberties and freedoms in this country. And don't forget, they will do everything in their power to water down the Second Amendment, just as they tried the last 4 years. And they couldn't do it because Trump, Cruz, and a number of senators and House members actually stood up and said, yeah, not going to happen here. Why don't you go do that in your own house? Because it's not going to happen here. But as we also saw, with Sing-Along Mitch. Didn't he do such a great job with the COVID relief bill? I mean, I'm telling you right now, the man was there. He was there. He said, hey, you know what, Donald Trump? I got your back on that 2,000. No, I don't. Let's go for the 600, and you're going to like it. And why don't you suck on that? Because as we all know, that $600, woohoo, I'm ready for retirement. But with that said, it's a big night tonight. As long as the line holds, we're up 52-48. Tomorrow is when the trial begins. What other better word to use for it? President Donald Trump versus Creepy Joe. Oh boy, it's gonna be fun. And it's gonna be spicy. I'm Judge Gonzo. This is what's next. And we'll see you next time. Peace.